You are a YouTuber. You ain't a boxer, mate.
I want you to keep on talking to talk yourself into the grave.
Yeah, I've watched all of his fights. He's never took one serious punch. Here's what he's took of Anderson Silva.
A professional boxer tried to make it clear to the YouTuber that his level was nowhere near elite.
And he's done this. What is that? What is that?
He hinted that in his previous fight against Anderson Silva, Paul had shown absolutely nothing impressive.
So, with all that said, are you, Tommy Fake Fury, ready to sign the contract?
However, when it came time to prove his words, the pro hesitated. In the end, his father stepped in, convincing him not to get involved in a YouTube spectacle. This fight was inevitable. On one side stood Tommy Fury, a representative of the legendary British fighting family, and the younger brother of world champion Tyson Fury. Despite solid amateur training, his professional career had been inconsistent. His record was filled with fights against weak opponents, leading many to believe he was overrated. On the other side was Jake Paul, a YouTuber who had entered the boxing world from social media. His boxing career began with fights against former MMA fighters and fellow influencers, but with each bout, he aimed to prove that he was more than just a media personality. His bold statements, aggressive marketing, and provocative behavior attracted massive attention. Yet many still believed he was far from a true professional. But all these ultimatums and jokes only fueled Tommy Fury's determination. He didn't just want to win, he wanted to punish Paul and show the difference between a real professional and someone just pretending to be one. From the very first round, Tommy established dominance. His powerful punches made Paul feel the force of a real boxer, and that was only the beginning. Paul, of course, tried to respond, but his punches had little effect on Fury. Tommy controlled the fight, moving faster, landing clean combinations, and showing superior defense. In the fifth round, Jake made a few desperate attempts to turn the tide, but they did little to change the course of the fight. By the seventh round, Tommy was close to finishing the fight early, but Paul managed to endure. However, his confidence had completely faded. The difference in skill level became undeniable, and the inevitable result followed.
The Irish superstar brazenly taunted Floyd, even pretending to slap the legend on the backside. Conor tried his hardest to provoke Mayweather emotionally, but Floyd, a master of psychological games, remained unfazed. At the start of the fight, the Irishman immediately pressed his opponent against the ropes. McGregor attempted to break through Floyd's guard, aiming to knock him out early in the fight. However, the crafty veteran had a different strategy, focusing on the later rounds. Between rounds, McGregor's corner urged him to maintain his aggressive pace, emphasizing the importance of keeping Floyd on the back foot. Meanwhile, Mayweather's team advised patience, encouraging him to let McGregor wear himself out before increasing his offensive output. Though Mayweather absorbed some heavy shots, he patiently waited for the leprechaun from Ireland to tire. Once Conor's energy waned, Floyd went on the offensive. Mayweather began using his signature shoulder roll defense to frustrate McGregor, all while landing counter punches to the body to sap the Irishman's stamina further. By the middle rounds, Conor's punches lacked the same intensity, allowing Floyd to step forward and dictate the pace. McGregor tried to tie up in the clinch, but Floyd consistently capitalized on these moments with sharp inside punches in well-timed breaks. Mayweather switched to executioner mode, making no mistakes as he systematically targeted the UFC champion's body before transitioning to his head with precise punches. Naturally, this accumulated damage began to take its toll, and by the 10th round, every punch from Mayweather threatened to end the fight. The beginning of the end came with a right hand that made McGregor stumble. Floyd lured him into a corner and finished him off without any trouble, showcasing his tactical brilliance and composure.
It wasn't just a boxing match, it was a clash of worlds, an exciting sight that made everyone talk. It was a truly important event, a spectacle that captured the attention of the whole world. On one side of the ring stood Tyson Gypsy King Fury, the undefeated heavyweight champion, not just a boxer, but a real showman, artist, and predator, capable of lulling vigilance and then destroying. He was known not only for his unusually light movement for a man of his size, but also for his sharp tongue. Fury teased his rivals to the last, psychologically pressuring them even before the first gong. He won not only with his fists, but with his words, his eyes, and his demeanor. Throughout his career, he took down fighters who seemed unwavering. Dancing in the ring as if at a ball, he could look comical in one episode and knock out his opponent with cold precision in the next. During the final fight, Fury wasn't just talking, he was mocking, he was laughing, he was grinning, he was pressing his stomach against his opponent like a bully in the schoolyard. He belittled Francis Ngannou's achievements, questioned his skills, and treated the Cameroonian like a tourist in his kingdom. But Tyson forgot, or chose to ignore, that Francis Ngannou was not someone to be taken lightly. Ngannou's path is one of the most incredible in the history of martial arts. He had risen from scratch by relying on willpower and terrifying knockout power. In MMA, he was known as the Predator, the scariest boxer to ever enter a cage. And now he was entering uncharted territory. It wasn't just another sport, it was another kingdom. The ring, boxing, and in front of him stood the undefeated, undisputed king, Tyson Fury. From the very beginning of the fight, Francis did not bat an eye. He went forward with intent, with venom, throwing bombs at the undefeated champion. And although Fury was playing his usual game, dropping his hands, showing off, dodging punches with a grin, something changed in the third round. Boom! A powerful left hook that appeared out of nowhere. Francis intervened, timed it perfectly, and delivered a precise blow to Fury's chin. The Gypsy King collapsed to the ground. The world froze. The crowd exploded. The celebrities in the front row had their jaws dropped. This shouldn't have happened. The guy from MMA, the so-called rookie, just knocked out the undefeated heavyweight king. From that moment on, the tone of the conversation changed. The rage returned, but the smirk was gone, as was the cocky swagger. He had experienced Ngannou's power and now respected it the hard way. Francis didn't stop pushing. Round after round, he landed cleanly, didn't back down, and displayed a composure that amazed boxing fans. He didn't just look like he was in his place, he looked like he was winning. Even in the last rounds, when many expected him to give up, Francis held on well. He went ahead, applied pressure, and made it clear. This was not some kind of sideshow. It was a war. Despite the knockdown and the winning ending, the judges preferred to give the victory to Tyson Fury. A whistle blew across the arena. Fury raised his hand, but everyone watching the fight knew the truth. The Gypsy King had been defeated.